Hi, my name is Carolyn Service with O2Bstamping.com. Today I'd like to show you one of our new products. It's called Fluid Chalk Ink Pad. And the color that I have here today is yellow citrus, because yellow is my absolute favorite color. But it also comes in two other colors, which are the aquamarine as well as the rose coral. So pink, blue, and yellow. We also have a new product called the Chalkboard Paper, and this gives you a fun surface to use the chalk ink pad on. So today I'm going to show you how to make this cute little card. So let's get started. So I'll bring out my supplies. I have my card base. Going to fold in half and have that ready. Then I also have a smaller piece of Whisper White. Zoom out here a little bit. This piece is actually 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And a little tip that I'm going to give you: when you are wanting to use designer paper on your card, because the designer paper measures 12 by 12, it's nice to be able to have increments that fit that size best. So like 4 by 4, 3 by 3, 4 by 3, so on and so forth, 6 by 6. So when you have a 5 1/4 inch piece and you go to put your designer paper on there, if you want it to go from top to bottom, you're going to get a lot less cuts out of your designer paper. So I decided to design this on a slightly smaller scale, and that way I could get more cards or more cuts out of my designer paper. So I'm just going to go ahead and add this small piece of designer paper, which measures 1 1/2 by 4 to the left side of my paper. Now I also have 3 extra pieces here. This is being my chalkboard paper, and then just some other background papers. I'll show you what I'm going to do with those in just a minute. Okay, the stamp set that I'm using to create this card is called Banner Blessings. Love this set. And I am going to be using the one that says Shine Like Stars in the Universe. This is a photopolymer stamp, and I will tell you that the chalk ink does stain the photopolymer stamps. That doesn't bother me any, and it also doesn't bother the ability for the stamp to stamp correctly. So I'm just going to ink my stamp up. Now this is a very soft pad, so you don't want to squish down on it too hard. A light tap would be fine. And then I'm just going to stamp that sentiment right in the center of my chalkboard paper. Now there are 2 sides to the chalkboard paper. One is a very flat black. The other side has a bit of a shiny surface to it. If you tip it in the light, you can see it reflect the light, but if you do that on the pitch black side, you won't see that happen. Now, some people say one side feels smoother than the other. I don't really get that so much, so I always just go by the flat black. Now, because, let me zoom in here a little bit, because I know that this is hard to see. It is supposed to be a chalkboard effect, so it's not as bright as your normal ink would be. However, if you like the idea of the chalkboard, but for whatever reason don't like the idea of the chalk ink, then you can actually use white craft ink and you will get this effect. Okay, just so that you can see the difference. Now, because this does not dry right away, I am going to take my heat gun just for time's sake, and I'm going to heat this up so it dries. I'll be right back. Okay, now we are all dry. I'm just going to set that aside for a moment, and then I'm going to use this piece of cardstock, which is 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. I am going to use the rose design from the photopolymer stamp set called Snuggles and Smooches. as just sort of a fill for the background, I'm going to take my Daffodil Delight ink and just put that on my paper as just, oh, didn't quite get that all. Sorry about that. Let me try that one more time. Let's see. Ah, there, much better. Okay, and I'm going to have 3 different pieces that I'm going to use in my big shot. So I have one of the deco labels, the second to the smallest. Actually, I'm going to get my big shot out. And I'm going to be using my magnetic platform with this project because I will be using framelits. I'm going to put one cutting pad down, and then I'm going to be putting this piece down. I'm also going to be putting this piece with one of the banner framelits. And last but not least, I'm going to be using this piece that comes with the mini treat bag framelits. And I'm going to put that there. Okay, then I'm just going to slide this cutting pad over the top and crank it through. Okay. So now I have these 3 components. And that. All right, and now to design the card. Okay, so I'm going to also, I want to add a piece of ribbon across the center here. And what I did was I measured a 7-inch piece of the Daffodil Delight cotton ribbon. It's a 1/4 inch. It's really got a nice texture to it. And what I did was I tied a knot, an overhand knot in one end. I'm going to do that on the other side. And I'm not sure that I'm actually working with a 7-inch piece of ribbon here, but I found that that's what a good length of ribbon was to use. That this one might be slightly smaller. And so if it ends up that you want to cut a smaller piece of ribbon, all you have to do is cut this in half, and then you can hide the fact that you've cut it in half behind this piece. Okay, so I'm just going to take some adhesive and attach this to the back. And this side also to the back. And then when I turn it over and lay it on my card, you'll never know that it's been cut. Actually, I'm going to put this one in a little bit closer. There we go. Okay, little trick to kind of conserve on ribbon as well. Okay, so I'm going to glue that down with my snail adhesive. And would also recommend putting the knot where your ribbon is knotted, a little glue dot under each one of those. So for time's sake, I'm not going to do that today. Then I'm going to add my chalkboard paper, oops, to the center here. And I'm going to pop out my little stars. I want 6 of them. There's actually 7 on that template. And then I'm simply going to take some Tombow multi-purpose adhesive, and I am going to put the smallest dot of that glue right on my cardstock. You can add these little stars wherever you like. I'm also then going to take my paper snips. Now you can actually use a paper piercing tool if you want. I just find that my paper snips work really well for this. Just get them on there, hold on to them, and then just put them right down on the paper where my little spots of glue are. Works well for me. I have tried using glue dots. They work okay, but I just prefer the glue. Okay, and then last but not least, I took some little jewels and I colored them with the darkest Daffodil Delight Blendability. You see those are colored. Okay, and then added 2 of them. Just a little bit of extra bling right here in the corners. Okay, last but not least, took a couple of dimensionals, 4 to be exact, put them in the corners. Got out my card base and added this to the front. Okay, and there you go. Fun little card using the new chalk ink and the new chalkboard paper. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Again, my name is Carolyn Service with o2bstampin.com. I am at your service, so if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them for me, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.